Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Beguiled by Books. I'm Megan, and I share short reviews for books across a wide variety of genres. Today, I'm sharing 7 of the books I think are highly underrated that more people should read. Let's get started. It's no secret I read a lot of books. If you've been here before, you probably already know that. And because I read a lot of books, I am also constantly following along what's going on BookTube, on Book Talk, on Bookstagram, all of those different sub communities on the social media platforms. And I'm surprised more people aren't talking about these 7 books because they are so good. The first book that I think is highly underrated that more people should be talking about is an older book. I read it a lot longer ago than I care to admit, but that book is Sabriel as the first book of the Aborson trilogy. This is such an amazing fantasy series that is so fabulous. It's a great YA fantasy series about necromancy and family, and it's a little bit dark, but not so dark that, a teenager couldn't get into it or be creeped out by it. It's totally fine for them. And it's just a great series. And again, I would love to see it adapted to screen. I want more people talking about it. I think it's on its like 25th anniversary or something like that. It's been out for a while. I want more people to talk about this book and love this book the way I do because it is so well done. The world building is incredible, and you'll absolutely love it if you like fantasy and that YA genre. Another underrated book that I would love to see get a lot more hype is Stardust by Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman has a ton of hype. His works are incredibly well known. Multiple different versions have, or multiple different stories of his have been adapted for screen, and they're great. I tend to watch all of them. I really like his work. His characters have been adapted to screen for maybe not direct Neil Gaiman shows, but he's a fantastic creative individual. But I would love to see his book Stardust get a movie or something like that, or just get more hype in the book world. It's a fun grown-up fairy tale, and grown-ups need more fairy tales in their lives. It's wonderful, it's heartwarming, there's adventure, there's darkness, there's happiness. It's everything that you want in a grown-up fairy tale. And I would love to see Stardust by Neil Gaiman get a ton more hype. Another book that I think is wildly underrated, and if you've been here before, you've probably heard me talk about this, is In the Shadow Garden by Liz Parker. And I think this is just a hug in book form. I love that the characters are a little bit older. I love the magic system, the location in Kentucky with bourbon and this magical garden interplays so incredibly well. This book is really, really underrated, and it's phenomenal. I need more people to love this book and to read this book, to talk about this book. Let's have a community about this book. I could go on, but In the Shadow Garden is such a delight. And if you haven't read this, put this at the top of your TBR right now. You will thank me. An underrated series that the owner of my local bookstore got me hooked on is the House Witch and the Burning Witch series. These books are cozy fantasy. There's lots of adventure. Every character is written really well, and it's just so much fun. You cannot go wrong. As of right now, there are, I believe, 7 books. At the time of filming this, there are 3 House Witch books. There's a transition book. There are 3 Burning Witch books. And if I had to guess, there are going to be more in this universe. And I am so excited for them. I need more people to fall in love with these. Come on, TikTok. Let's make this viral. I want this author to be super successful. It's a phenomenal, phenomenal series that you will love if you love cozy fantasy. Another underrated book that I think doesn't get enough play is My Sister, the Serial Killer. This book is very short, very quick to read. And what I love about this is the slight change in perspective. Instead of being more of a mystery whodunit book and you're trying to figure out who a killer is, it's right there in the title, My Sister, the Serial Killer. So I love the perspective shift, how everything is through the sister's lens. and what that world looks like, knowing who her sister is and what she's capable of. Fascinating way for a story to be told. Again, I blew through it. It's so well done. And it keeps you on your toes, even though it doesn't keep you necessarily guessing. You're kind of guessing as to always what's going to happen next. So I just love the perspective shift, and I want more people to talk about this, and I want this book to be way more popular than I've seen. So definitely add this if you like mysteries and thrillers in your type of reading. Another underrated book is actually in the memoir space, and that's Eat a Peach by David Chang. Now, fairly recently, there was a bit of a brouhaha around the chili crisp thing in the food world. David Chang trying to patent it, all of these things. And that aside, this book is really interesting because it gives a lot of insight into who David Chang is, how he was raised, why he is the way he is. And on top of that, it's a really well done memoir. Now, I've got a weird proclivity for chef memoirs. I don't know why. I just really love chef memoirs, probably because I love reading and I love food. It's probably not that deep. But this one was really well done, very good. And it's a great blend of not just food and being a chef, but also the intersection of David Chang's upbringing as a Korean American and how that influenced, again, his decision making, getting into food, the type of food that he cooks. Fascinating look, and I would definitely recommend it. Another memoir that is wildly underrated that I think more people should read is A Year of Living Danishly. And this is just such an interesting take on kind of a memoir, on a book, on a journalistic research piece. But a Brit moves to Denmark for at least a year with her husband when her husband gets his dream job working at Lego. And how do you make that transition? How do you go from being a Brit to living in kind of rural Denmark and all of the things that need to happen? Finding a place to live, getting around town, making friends, building a brand new community. What does all of that look like? And just the Danish culture in general and how that's so different from the UK and from American culture or whatever culture you are in, assuming you don't live in Denmark. But it's a really fun look. And Helen Russell's writing is just light and snarky in a good way and very sassy and happy. And I just love how all of those things come together. So I would absolutely recommend A Year of Living Danishly. What are some books that you have read that you think are wildly underrated? I definitely want to read them. Please drop me a comment below and let me know, and I will add them to my list. And as always, if you liked this video, found it helpful, found a book you'd like to read, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks and have a great day.